Hello and welcome back to another Overwatch Everyday. Today we're going to actually be going into our support placements. We just wrapped up our tank placements in the last episode. Getting up to Masters 1 after one or two games past our placements, but now we're going to be moving into the other roles. I am champion on every role, and I'm going to be trying to get this account up to that as well, just commentating my gameplay and my thought process through the way, because especially going into support, I think a lot of times people might undervalue some aspects of heroes kits or overvalue thinking that they might need to like damage too much or heal too much when there's a very nice balance. I'll be talking through how I find that balance each game. So looking at our maps here, there's a lot of different options that we can be playing. Ilios, Nepal, Gibraltar. We will be rolling Ilios, a lot more of a divey sort of map. Here, whenever I play support, I like to sort of see what my team is picking first to make sure that I have the best option available. A lot of the times, if you have a sort of aim skill though, especially right now, in the current meta, Illari is a very, very strong hero. They have the highest win rate out of any role in every region right now, usually maintaining around like a 55% win rate in Champion/GM games and even higher below that. So Illari is one of the strongest, if not the strongest ranked hero in the game right now. So if you have that aim skill, if you're able to sort of click heads, insta-locking Illari is a super fine thing to do right now. But I'm going to be trying to flex to make pick the best hero possible to win the game. Sometimes it's going to be just trying to solo carry. Sometimes it's going to be trying to support my team, but we're going to try to do whatever it takes to win. So here we're going to see a Mizuki, Reaper, Sigma being hovered with an Onion. When I look at this comp, I see that we're going to want to be playing somewhat slowly. We're going to want to let our Mizuki damage and come through. We're going to want our Sigma damage to come through, giving our Mizuki chances to find chains. A lot of times, if you're going to be having some sort of main support on your team, like a Lucio, like a Mizuki, like a Brigitte, you're probably like Kiriko's always a safe bet. Just generally very, very strong here. You can play him in most comps, and that is what I'm going to do right here. There's a chance I might swap to Baptiste a little bit later. I don't have my control set on carry. Oh, I thought they were getting my TP. I thought they were like super considerate. There's a safe gate like me. We see a Reinhardt. So this, every time that we see like a super grounded brawlier tank, as Kiriko, I like to be taking more angles, finding pressure, still areas where I'm able to carry my Sigma, like this high ground. But now I have a very good chance of just getting a lot of damage in over time onto their people. So then we're able to clean up that Reinhardt kill and then TP away. Reaper has no fade, so we are able to step on this since we have both of our cooldowns. And then they do go down. So the main thing about carrying on Kiriko here is just finding what I like to call your DLC value. I like to think about the game in terms of identifying your job and then trying to look for DLC value on top of that value that you don't necessarily need to do in the terms of like what you provide to your comp, but it is what's going to let you like carry the game. Some people will be like referring to it as like min-maxing on the role, and flex support especially is a very min-max role where you're going to want to like just try to get the best stats you can. You want to try to have the most uptime that you can. We have a very early rush here, especially with rush. When you have it first in the lobby, I like to pop it super aggressively to enable my team to go in. You can see my Onion flanking. We don't have to necessarily play off it instantly, but we just want to open up the chance, because if we're farming it so quickly, it's one of the very, 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 very strong ults. And I only use it because I know that they don't have something to like match, or something that I'll need to match it with later. So we see the Reaper fade get forced out, and their team will just go down. We're going to try to poke up aggressively, try to suffocate them as much as possible. The great thing about Kiriko is that you have such high survivability, so you're able to give yourself a bunch of chances to find a lot of DLC value, a lot of extra damage, but you just need to be ready and be confident to look for those kills. So here they use their B, and now we're going to need to be looking to back up, making sure that we're carrying our Amatra and anyone who might be in danger on our way out. But because they're going to have a few more ults in us, I want to be playing a little bit passively to make sure that I build my rush this fight. If we die before we get our rush, our team's going to be in a pretty sticky spot. But we are able to live. We're able to keep up our Amatra, who's getting their ultimate off. And we are going to clean up the fight. Honestly, pretty okay. I'm not the happiest with my first rush. I think that because I was just so far ahead of the lobby in terms of ultimate charge, though, using it aggressively will just make it easier for my team in most instances to get their ultimates online and just set tempo, suffocate the enemy team. It can be very, very, very good. But, and as flex support, a lot of the times you are going to have the first ult in the lobby. So if you know you're really ahead, you can be looking for those aggressive plays, but don't be afraid to just hold it as well. Making sure that you have your rush, which is the strongest ult in the game, for opportunities that you're really going to need it, is okay as well. You just need to know when you would really need it. Like if they have a Kiriko of their own and they wanted, or they were closing rush, then I'd want to make sure that I have the ability to match when my team would need it. Because if they have rush and we don't have rush, it's a really, really bad spot to be in. Looking like a similar comp here. I'm just going to be poking on this high ground here at head level to see if I can get any lucky damage early. My team doesn't need my carry yet, or too much carry yet. I missed the Suzu. We're just going to try to keep my Ram up as much as I can. Even if they're getting onto my backline, I just wanted to try to help my Ram as much as possible. They made a bunch of space because they were putting so much attention into our space. My teammates were able to clean up all the people trying to step inside of us really easily. We see Moira left side. Into the Zarya, Reaper, Emre. I do want to be playing a little bit more on the angles or these high grounds. Just generally spots that they can't get onto. And just kind of poking them down as much as I can. Maximizing my poke value while still being in a spot where I can carry my team is going to be the name of the game for almost every support. Or flex support at least. Main support can be a little bit different, but I'll get to that probably in a future episode. So here, thinking about this fight, it's going to be same old, same old. We just want to make sure that we keep everyone alive while trying to get our poke value. We're trying to build our rush as fast as we can. We see our Emre on right side. We're going to try to like make sure that they don't get this angle for free. Constantly checking back to look at the condition of our teammates on front line. Because if you're ever fighting on an angle, you cannot... It's really, really good DLC value. It's good to like try to do it as an extra, but you cannot like give up your job for it. You need to know immediately when it's time to back up and when it's time to just put the fries in the bag and heal your tank. So here we have our rush online, but they have a lot of their own ultimates, so I'm actually going to be holding on to my rush for when we really need it. Usually when we back up and there's a brawl on the point, or we're in a super committed position, I'm going to be looking for my rush. So here they're going to be stepping onto the point in just a second. My Onion reses herself. That's Cole, and this is the time to match with our own rush. It's going to be really hard for them to live on the point when we're popping ultimates on it, especially Rush. Rush is the strongest ultimate. It's just straight up demanding space. It's going to be very, very hard for enemy teams to play into your Rush if they don't have any other big ultimates for themselves to counter it. So, end of this match, we went 20-0, 6,000 damage, 4,000 healing. We have the highest healing in the lobby. We have the highest damage in the lobby. Almost the highest damage in the lobby. It was just a lot of finding our additional value, playing aggressive when we could, but not like inting for it, not like trying to do Not trying to force it. Making sure that we're able to stay alive as much as we can. Alright, going into our second game here, we get the role of Pariso, Numbani, Hollywood. Looks like our team wants to be playing Hollywood. I might talk about Ana a little bit if I get the chance, or maybe a Lucio or a Brigitte. I want to ideally lean something a little bit away from mechanics because Kiriko, one of the best duelists in the game, I can just kind of run people down on lanes, and if I'm hitting more shots on them, then it'll be looking and feeling really, really good. But there are other ways to carry us on this role that isn't just hit more shots the enemy team. But mechanics are very, very important for support, especially flex support. Looking like we're going to be having a Roadhog player here, which opens up our options quite a bit. We're still going to need to put a little bit of healing into them, especially if they go some counters for our Roadhog. But it does open up some greedier picks for us on the back line. We see Domina, Zarya, Detta, Cat Ban, so they're going to be having a little bit of a harder time like playing pokier heroes or pokier comps, especially with that Cat and Domina ban. But whenever I see Detta ban on support, I'm smiling, I'm grinning ear to ear, because Vendetta can be a real pain in the ass, I can't lie. Looking like we're going to be running double hit scan, Roadhog, Ana. The best support here, there's a lot of things that we can play here. You can play Brigitte, give your team a lot of that brawl value, and if they're on a dive, then you're able to protect your Ashe, your Widow, your Ana. You can play Lucio, trying to help your Roadhog get into positions to find hooks while still protecting all of your shooters, as well as being able to sort of fight lanes, which your team is going to struggle with. Juno's not the greatest. Kiriko's always a safe pick. If Kiriko's open, it's not always kind of not bad. We could play Bap here. I think I am going to lean into Brig here. I don't think Brig is the best pick. I might swap Lucio a little bit later to really be able to hold some of the space a bit more aggressively for my team. They are on Reinhardt. Mei. Brig is going to be pretty hard here because they have a lot of brawl on their team. It's going to be hard for us to actually directly step onto and find the R swing value. So we're just going to make sure that we're keeping our team in our LOS here, and Brig is a very, very patient game. So we're waiting until we have our openings. We're waiting until we see the opportunities to really like start running people down. And then once we finally are in a position where we're not going to get blown up is when it's time to get really in there, really active. Making sure that we're still carrying our teammates though while we do. But the main thing about Brig and main support in general is finding a lot of open space on the map and being as annoying as you possibly can. My Ana's sitting on point, so I'm ready to bash up and help our Ashe if we need, but it looks like we'll be okay. I'm going to be trying to poke this right side area just a little bit here. Using third person shield to get some scouting is really, really important micro on Brig to remember and just build into being a habit. So here we're going to see my Widow falls very low. I'm actually going to triple pack them. It might have been better to double pack and then give one to my Ashe, but my Ashe does live. Nice. Just want to make sure that my Ana stays alive as much as possible. We see that their Bastion form is actually over, so we can take this space with our Ashe and make sure that the Winston isn't able to get onto them easily whatsoever. They do swap off Winston. I'm curious to see what it is going to be. Maybe a ground tank like Orisa, Roadhog. Mirror would be pretty expected. Orisa, yep. So they want to be playing pretty hard for the ground here. We want to make sure that our Ashe is super free to shoot on this high ground. This is going to be a very, very big power position for us. So I'm just looking to deny anything that's like stopping our carry here. So I pop Rally to try to enable our Ashe a little bit more, and I'm gonna just be cleaning up all the other people stepping. We're actually giving up the high ground, but it's okay because we have such a numbers advantage on cart now, because we kept up the other people who were getting pressured on our team, that we are just going to be able to cap the point. That Reese is going to be looking or feeling really uncomfortable when it comes to just walking to the point, and we clean it up. Just trying to get a little bit of extra ult charge there, a little bit of inspire, and now I want to be putting myself in spots to care people that I need to care. I hear soldier up top, so I want to make sure that I'm not. Oh, right side. Reaper. Whoa, 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 whoa. What are they doing over there? So now we know both their DPS are on the right side. We know the threats and the areas that we need to be marking. We're a little bit scared of this visor and this Reaper TPing in. So we're going to be paying a lot of mind to it. Our Inspire is going to keep up our Widow there. And our Ashe was just barely out of our LOS, but that is okay. Soldier is back main. We're going to... Anytime we see like a big thing like a Helix Rocket or like a Widow Shot or something with like a clear damage line, it's not bad to just kind of like turn around and see like who it hit, what it's looking like. I want to keep just a little bit of my shield to bash out, but it does get broken on my bash. It's a little unfortunate. We swap to Echo now. It's really important to make sure that we're keeping our Echo in our LOS a lot, or at all times, because they don't actually have that much self-sustain, but they are going to be a very, very big source of our damage here. I'm going to use 2 packs on our Ashe there. But we are in a bit of a hard spot. Using packs on my Ana, just try to stay alive. I'm going to tank some damage from my Roadhog here, but making sure that I don't overstay my welcome. Remember that you are a support. You have a little bit of extra HP with your shield. You're able to body block somewhat, but don't overstay your welcome. Don't overdo it. You're not a mini Reinhardt, you're a Brigitte. I'm gonna do this. Picking the shield bash perk just because we're struggling a little bit to actually get into good spots, and we're having to maneuver around a lot in areas that feel kind of difficult, especially this big open space into their comp can kind of suck. We pop our Bob, so now I'm thinking about my rally here, as I want to use it similar to Rush. It's a very good brawl ultimate. I want to force them to walk into me, or I'm going to use it to stun this Blossom. But our Roadhog gets a hook, which is a-okay. And we are going to cap this point. Nice. Main support's not that much of a glamorous role, but you can have a massive, massive, massive impact if you're playing it right. Making sure that all of the people who really need to be fragging are able to frag, and making sure that just denying the enemy team from everything that they could ever want to do. I always say whenever I'm VODing main support players that it is the denial role. You are trying to make the enemy team's lives miserable. Any plays that they want to stop, almost every main support has amazing kits to stop whatever the enemy team wants to do. So if you get a lot of pleasure, if you get a lot of joy from just sort of like denying the enemy team, if you are like a blocker in volleyball or something, main support could be a very, very, very good role for you. So here we're going to see a Mercy with our double shooter. I might go something a little bit more heal based, something like a Baptiste, something like a Kiriko is looking to be pretty good here. I think I am going to go Bap just for a little bit more survivability for our front line. Sometimes maybe I would go Alari here if I was really feeling mechanically inclined, but that's very greedy. It's very selfish. But sometimes in ranked, if you need to be selfish, if you're trying to enable your team and your team's not winning, then sometimes it's just good to try to take the game into your own hands, since the end goal of ranked is having a higher win rate than the rank you are in. I got scared. need a lamp there, but I just want to make sure that my Sig doesn't rando die to like a Widow and Spawn that I couldn't see or something. Now that we see that they're comp, I'm just going to be holding this top left high ground and making sure that my exit boots are charged. If their Doomfist ever wants to get onto me, then I want to make sure that it's not going to be like easy for them to kill. So I have my exit boots charged, ready to just jump away at a moment's notice, as well as follow up on any potential damage like that. My Echo's looking to fight that May on left, and we are chilled. Now ball, same thing. We want to make sure that this ball is actually going to have a really hard time killing us, but something about ball is they're going to be actually a little bit more mobile than the other, than Doomfist, but it looks like this game is over. We have 2 levers now. Rather unfortunate that we aren't able to play the full game out, but a win's a win. GGs are called. Vamps mommy is going. And that will be the end of this game. Overall, I think main support, especially like going up to like GM, can have like a bunch of like really like high carry potential. A lot of people need to understand though that you aren't able to just go and 1v1 people like you can on a DPS or a tank or like a Kiriko or something. Main support is going to be a bunch of just carrying through denying everything that the enemy team wants to do. Lucio, you're going to be wanting to find a lot of like the weaker players to just sort of like, or the weaker like lanes or singled out players to just like shut down completely while still doing your own job. If you're ever able to make it so that you deny someone else's value entirely on the map whilst you're still getting your own value, it's really strong place to be, and that's how main support's going to be able to carry. That's why Brigitte is played. You're keeping everyone else up on your team whilst denying the enemy team with your whip shots, with your brig, with your bashes. Oh, that's unfortunate. I think that's the original guy that left. I think especially as, I think I am going to be trying to lean a little bit more into main supports during this series. I'm still going to try to pick the optimal pick as much as I can. Which a lot of times will be Kiriko, just like how on tank, Orisa is just always going to be a safe pick. For support, Kiriko is always going to be a pretty safe pick. It can fit into every comp. It can do a lot of roles. It's a very generalist hero. Lucio as well, very generalist hero, very safe, can play into a lot of comps and do a lot of different like jobs basically. So we're probably going to be seeing a lot of Kiriko, Lucio, but I am going to try to like venture out whenever I can to talk about a little bit more quirky heroes. Only heroes that I might not cover through my support playthrough on this series is like Lifeweaver. But maybe if you guys want to see me attempt to like Lifeweaver or Mizuki, but if you guys want to see me attempt to sort of work through my thought process on trying to figure out a hero's value and how to play them, I can definitely pick those heroes. But generally, I don't play Lifeweaver. I don't play Mizuki. That's like 2 of the 4 heroes in the game that I don't play. Only other heroes being like Onion, Emre. I think that's it. Yeah. Just Lifeweaver, Onion, Emre, Mizuki. And it's only just because they're newer heroes and I haven't gotten the chance to really grind them yet. I understand generally what they do, but not exactly. I'm not going out of my way to play Hatman. And Lifeweaver, I don't really like Lifeweaver. I did study a little bit of Cat though. Alright, but that will be it for today. I'm going to try to keep these videos just a little bit shorter, keeping this one down to 2 games. But I think the big takeaways were probably on that first map. That Ilios game was pretty solid, I think. Talking about how we can use our ultimates aggressively if we're setting tempo, making like we're basically going to have 1 extra ultimate if we get the chance to use it early. Through the course of the game, we're going to just be able to lap people in the long run and get more ult value over or that way. But the Hollywood game was a little bit, or at least defense was unfortunate, but our attack, I think there's still a few things to take away from. But for next episode, I'll also be playing support. Ideally, we're going to be wrapping up placements, probably the next like 3 episodes on support, and then we will be moving on to DPS. After that, we're probably just gonna do like a 1-day cycle. One day I'll play tank, next day I'll play support, damage, and then we're just gonna keep cycling through until all of these are champ. And I'll still be talking through my thought process the entire time. So thanks for watching, everyone. That was Overwatch Every Day, and I'll see y'all tomorrow. Bye bye.